Hello and welcome back to the Popcorn for Dinner podcast. Today's specials are
Woo!
belt soup and dead nuggets. Today we're
Mm,
discussing the penultimate episode of Yellowjackets season 2.
That was
And
really
joining me.
intelligent. Sorry.
Oh,
I just need to recognize. That was a
yeah,
good one. That
thank
was
you.
probably
A-star.
the best one so far. Yeah, A
Thank
star.
you. Thank you. We're talking about the penultimate episode of Yellowjackets season 2. And joining me once again, I've caught them on their days off from chasing blackmailers and murdering lovers. It's Faridah and Dumebi. How are you guys doing?
Go first, Farida.
I shall go first. I'm doing spanking. The UK is having longer days. Summer is here. I'm gonna see Beyonce eventually, kind of soon. And yeah, and I'm also going for salsa really randomly this Wednesday. And yeah, how are you doing,
Ooh,
Ruby?
nice. Okay. I don't know if I'm spanking, but I'm all right. I'm definitely not seeing Beyonce soon, so that's a bummer. Um,
Hmm.
No.
Lagos is perpetually hot. It rained for like 500 hours today, so I had to basically swim to the gym, but in the vehicle, so that was fine.
Always
I
nice.
have bar class tomorrow, so that's exciting. Um, what else? Besides that, I'm just tired and looking for FX, man. But
Period.
yeah, hey guys, hope you had like a lovely week. Has it been up to a week? I feel like it's been the
Well,
last few
yeah, because they're
days.
listening to this on the day that the episode drops, so a week later.
Okay, hope you had a great week. Huh?
Do we?
Oh, you're changing it for them.
Yeah, did you finish your monologue? Um,
Also, can I just say, I'm so sorry, guys. That's a show said as you last week. I just got really passionate. I hate rubbish. But anyway, I feel more
um,
cheerful today, so hopefully there will be no shouting. And
yeah.
also all these people that were saying this show is not giving them excitement, they didn't get anything. I hope you watch this episode. Silly guys. Carry on.
I mean, let's just shout out your one defender in the YouTube comment at yup that's me underscore 70 who had a response
Woo!
worthy of your monologue.
Period.
Um, yeah, shout out to that person.
And
Okay.
who gave me a special shout out, as in you called me by name. Look,
Mm-hmm.
Big.
God will bless you. Okay. Okay.
No,
You
for
covered.
real.
You covered.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Bankole is going to tell us how his day was because he
No, I'm not.
hasn't. Yeah, you are.
That's
Why?
the whole
What?
point.
Yeah, if you don't tell us how you are, Farina and I are going to do a silent strike. We won't speak about this. We'll just be
Mm.
silently looking.
Part of me
It-
wants to call your bluff because do you know you can't be silent for more than 10 seconds.
First of
But
all,
also we're
fuck
running
you.
out
You
of
don't
time
know
before
me. You
do
don't
I
know
do I
me.
not?
You don't know me.
On a
I can
different day, I would
be.
have on a different day I would have pulled this, but like we're running out of time to record this podcast. So I don't even want to like. We have a lot of things to talk about, but we all know the truth. We know the truth. But speaking of recording lots of stuff, we are approaching the series finales of
Broccoli,
Succession,
how are you?
Barry,
Oh yeah,
Love
wait, how
and
are
Death,
you?
and possibly Ted Lasso.
That's so interesting. Are you okay, bro? Like for real? Like it's something good? Like you
Oh
can't
my!
even lie and say I'm fine. You know that's
Jesus.
serious when you can't even lie and say I'm fine.
Bankole, let me
Well,
tell you, we're not
mhm.
going to move forward until you say, because everything you ask, I'll say, Bankole, how are you? Bankole, how are
I'm
you? So
fine.
you
I'm
must.
actually I'm fine. I'm really busy, and I'm very busy
Mm,
because there's a lot of podcasts going on. We're doing the series finales of Succession, Barry,
Mm-hmm,
Love and Death, and possibly Ted Lasso all
mm-hmm,
in coming weeks.
mm-hmm.
And of course, the three of us will be back next week to talk about the Yellow Jacket season finale. But it'll be very unlikely that we'll receive screeners for that episode. So our
I see.
podcast won't be out as early as normal. But I'll try to have it out as soon as possible, or as soon as humanly possible, when that human is a lazy boy. So for now, we're talking about season 2, episode 8, the penultimate episode of season 2, titled It Chooses, written by Sarah L. Thompson and Liz Fang, and directed by Daisy Von Scherler-Meyer. So, just quickly, because I feel like it's a little part of the episode, but I really do think it requires um attention. I think it has probably the best scene of the episode. I want to talk about Callie and Jeff first. Jeff is met by Kevin Tan and the creepy police officer with a warrant to search their house. This leads to a very it leads to them showing Jeff the pictures of Adam being cut up and his tattoo being grated off, which leads to a hilarious nightmare that Jeff has. I don't know. Am I weird for laughing throughout that nightmare? Because
No,
that
no,
was
no.
just
I
like,
It was
found it
such a Jeff
absolutely
nightmare.
amazing. It was
It was
so
such a
funny,
Jeff
and it was such
nightmare.
a Jeff thing. And do you know what even killed me was how he woke up. He woke up, and he was like, I, I said, "Oh, poor Jeff."
poor Jeff. Yeah, so he and Kylie understandably can't sleep, and then it leads to a heart to heart. And what I said, I think was the probably best scene of the episode, to be honest. Um, Jeff tells Kylie about Shauna's baby. And then I wrote down what he says. I wrote down what he said. Oh,
What
actually,
did
you
he
know what
say?
he says? So after telling everything, he says that's your mom's burden to bear and
Mm-hmm.
mine too, I guess. But you don't have to make it yours.
The best parenting that
Protect
she's
Jeff at
seen
all
all
costs, guys.
season.
Protect Jeff at
The
all
the
costs.
best parenting
Can
that
I just
she's
mention
seen
that,
all
like, in that
season.
moment, Jeff still like takes the beer from Kylie. Like, Shauna would have gone to get her own beer and like they would have shared a beer with her underage daughter. But no, I really like this scene. I think I do have some questions. Like, the questions don't matter to the scene, but it's more like, how did Jeff know about the baby? Like, did Shauna tell him back then? Did he read it in diary? Obviously, if Shauna told him back then, to probably explain why they got married so young, probably out of guilt and all of that. But no, I
I
really like
mean,
this
she
scene. I
did
think,
say she got married to him out of guilt
yeah, but that was
She
her
said
guilt. So I
that.
don't know. She said
When did
that
she
in
say that?
the police station
in
last
her
week.
police interview.
Ah, that's not nice. It's true, but that's not nice.
Yeah, so I don't know if like did Jeff get married to her also out of, because I'm like, Jeff 5 years to get married out of, like, was out of guilt as well. But no, I really like that scene. I just like the openness with Jeff shares that with Kylie. Even Kylie's bit of fear that she might be a psychopath. That maybe the poison doesn't drips down. Shout out to Succession.
Shout out Succession. Ah, well, it's moving. Sorry, go on. What's
Yeah, no,
colliding?
so I really like that scene. And but yeah, that was just, I just wanted to there's have thoughts on that scene, and we'll move on. Just really wanted to touch on that before we
Do
do anything
you
else.
think that it was his place to tell Callie about the baby?
So I think that obviously this is me, the man,
Manning.
manning and defending the man. But I think if it depends on how he found out. If he found out through the diary, maybe not. But like if Shauna told him, because like, yeah, it's Shauna's trauma, but it's also kind of his. Does that make sense? Like, it's not.
How?
I don't
Go
think
on.
like it's not. I think he has a place. Obviously, ideally, Shauna would share it or they'll share it together, but I don't think it's completely out of place for him to share that with Kylie because she's still his daughter and that was still his son.
My but to that is I think from seeing 1996, I think that
Mm-hmm.
was incredibly traumatic for Shauna.
Mhm.
And I understand that he didn't do it maliciously. He did it because he wanted to provide some clarity to his daughter on on her mother's behavior.
Yeah.
But I just still think that, and knowing the way this Cali babe might behave, I
Like a
just feel like,
teenager, like her age.
bruh. I just feel like she can just be having a tantrum one of these days and just blurt it out like a mad babe.
Yeah.
Or she can just like want Shauna to talk about it. And that has kind of like taking away some agency from Shauna because, like, yes, it was Jeff's sperm that contributed to creating the baby, but he wasn't really there. He didn't really see
Nice
it. He didn't
analysis
really.
of fatherhood from the baby there. Like, he contributed the sperm. That's it.
He didn't live through it with her. He sort of
Mm-hmm.
met her kind of in the aftermath of like dealing with and processing it. So I just feel like maybe if there were, and maybe they had a discussion that one day they will tell this babe, or maybe I just feel like I felt a little bit on
Betrayed.
her behalf. I not betrayed. It wasn't betrayed. It just felt invasive
Hmm.
on her behalf.
Yeah, it's a bit.
I just felt like somebody just reached inside me and took something that I didn't give them.
That
So
makes
that's
no.
why
Yeah, that makes sense actually.
when I watched
Mhm.
it, I got it, but I was just like, if this was my man, I don't know. I mean, I get it, but and I know I was far away, but as you called me earlier, can't you call me again? But then I guess it was,
Yeah, we come
I
like
guess
call.
it was the spur of the moment, and like it
Yeah,
like it
Yeah.
fit in like a glove. It was just interesting for me because I was like, I wonder how she
yeah.
would feel about that. But
No,
then considering that
No, I
she was
don't
just
think
been
she'd
opening her
like
mouth,
it.
just talking wow, 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 anyhow, I guess
yeah, I
she
was
might.
gonna say like it's not. This is not one for one, and it's not like equitable. But also, she's also the person that told Caddy that hey, look, your dad was blackmailing my friends. Like,
And now because
and
she was
then
about to paint her father as a saint and the mother as a demon. Meanwhile, he's the root cause
so
of
you're
all this.
well again. So you're saying that
I mean, I don't
Shauna,
think Jeff is the root of all these
you're saying
Not
Shauna
problems.
the
said her
root, but
own.
he triggered a few things.
So you're saying Shauna said
Figured a few
hers
things, but
to
But
Shona
vilify.
like
killed someone.
Bakuli, the truth is, it doesn't
Mhm.
matter what Shauna said. There's no like it's not the same thing. It's not the
No,
same.
no, no. It's obviously not the same thing. It's
Like,
obviously not, yeah, obviously not the same
so
thing.
even
No,
if Shona told all his life secrets, he's different. He's different. I stand by
yeah.
that.
Mm.
So yeah.
No, I do. I understand what you're saying, but I think it's one of those things that I don't know how to put it. I feel like I mean maybe next episode something happens and I'm completely wrong, but it's one of those things that maybe when you're in the middle of it, you don't. It doesn't feel like a betrayal to you. I don't know. How to, like there's a scenario I see where Sean has almost maybe relieved that Jeff was able to tell Callie because she was never
Mhm.
going to be able to do it. So
It's
she's almost relieved that
possible.
yeah. Um,
But I
but
don't
also they
think
probably
so. Because I feel like she feels like she's fucked up this babe too much by giving her too much information. Now she has told her this whole trauma and she can't do anything about it. She'll now be carrying the guilt all around. I don't
But
know.
I think this might be something that is not have a negative impact on Kylie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This might be something that probably just paints her mother as human, as like shows her like explains why her mother does the things her mother does. Like it's not just that your mom is running around killing people. Like there's a lot
I
of
mean, she
trauma and
is.
yeah, she is, but like
Yeah.
there's a reason. Okay, I mean, I really like this scene, and I could spend an entire episode talking about it. But as you guys know, there's also
Yeah.
important things that happen in this episode. So let's move to. We're going to talk
Did
about
you
the.
hear that? Naysayers. Bankole, repeat yourself. There are a
There are a
lot
lot
of
of
important things that happen in what? In this episode. This episode is in
what
what?
I
Season
don't know
two.
who you're fighting with to maybe like people that
I
are
know,
listening to this
but
episode like the show so far. Like they're not the people that you're talking to. They're not listening to this
They're
episode.
on
Go on Twitter.
Twitter,
And,
babe.
yeah, go
I
on Twitter
showed
and
you the
fight with them.
tweets.
so
Um,
Bankole, what you need to do is you need to take these make clips and post them on Twitter.
s-
Message from Dumebi to the naysayers of Yellow Jackets.
okay. So before we go into the next two sections, which we'll focus on, as you guys can understand, the adult yellow jackets and the teenage yellow jackets. Um, I want you guys to keep a quote in mind. We didn't talk about it last week, which we should have. That was kind of a problem on my part. But it's what the antler queen says to Lottie, i.e., Lottie says to Lottie,
That line
does
was
a
Mm,
hunt,
fresh. Please, yes, read it
yes,
for me.
does
I
a
can't
hunt,
honestly,
read
does,
it. Read it.
can I say,
Blow it in the mic. Blow it in the
oh
mic.
my God,
Blow it
does
in
a
the
come
mic.
hunt
closer.
that
Come closer.
has, oh my, can I say the words?
Okay.
Does a hunt that has no violence feed anyone? And
Period. And the answer
I
is
think,
no.
wow, why is the answer no? That's not true.
Shakespeare. Shakespeare.
To be fair,
William
anyway, okay, so
Shakespeare and Sly Queen.
I think that is relevant to both the adult storyline and the 96 storyline. But also, there's something. So this is just we'll just swerve a bit into filmmaking corner if you guys don't mind, because there are two things that kind of really jumped out at me. I said this episode is directed by Daisy von Shalomaya, who directed the first episode of the season, which ends with obviously Shauna eating Jackie's ear, which kind of started this whole thing. Um, the first thing that jumped out to me was kind of like this subjective filming effect that they use. If you guys notice when like kind of the areas around the face are kind of blurred out. And it just, I think it starts with Lottie this episode. I think they did it with Shauna during her labor episode. It starts with Lottie, Akila has it, Taisa has it, Travis has it this episode. I think it's just kind of like to show that these characters are kind of losing their emotional and mental stance, and you kind of go into the characters and like is a lot more subjective than the objective clear shots and everything. Is like we're in these characters' heads and we're seeing what they're seeing, and a lot of
Someone went
the
to school.
a
Honestly,
lot of
Bankole, you're
the
so good at what you do.
Look
I'm
at
so proud of
him.
you.
Keep
I
keep shouting.
think
Keep going, bro. Go on, finish.
I've,
Seen as a subjective filmmaking.
As we leave the
yeah, but
Speak
microphone to
the
on!
trick
Speak
the
on!
trick is that if you
Wow.
use this kind of words, it makes you sound smarter than you actually are. But
Bankole,
yeah,
you are.
anyways, okay, thank you. Yeah, no, anyway, so yeah, I liked because at first when it happened with Lottie, I was like, that's weird. Then it happens with I think Akila is next, and
Mm.
then with Taisa, and then with Travis, and you're like, oh, what's going on? And you realize that these characters are really kind of losing
And with
their
that babe
stances.
that hears the dripping, what's her name?
Mari, yeah.
Um,
But I also think that this episode is the most closely I can remember where the two storylines kind of communicate with each other, if that
yes,
makes
I
sense. Like I
agree.
think
I agree.
there's a scene where Van is walking 2021 and it transitions to Van walking in 96. Same thing
I
with
like that.
Tysa. They don't yeah, I love it, but they don't really do it a lot on Yellowjackets. Like they don't usually do this kind of the similarities are usually more thematic and emotional, never really actual physical.
Hmm.
Um and I thought that was interesting because again, as we'll talk about later, there's this moment where somebody literally interrupts a 96 storyline to say something in 2021, which is almost like it is the first time it feels more like a memory than something actually that's something I'm
Oh,
actually
is it when
watching.
Shona was like, but that didn't happen?
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I
thought
thought that was really interesting.
so. Yeah, so I think the fact that those both storylines are communicating with each other so closely this episode is also quite interesting. It's like, okay, why are you guys choosing to do this now at the point when the characters are just really, really physically and emotionally drained? And I also think, like I said, that earlier effect probably showing that maybe these characters are not as reliable, even though we knew that. But now it's like they are starving, they're tired, they've just witnessed a snowstorm and their friend almost dying and losing the baby. So like the unreliability of the narrators is increased. Okay, so let's go to the sharing shack. Um, I really really like the scene. I really really like the first half of this scene because um, I promise I'll let you
Sorry,
guys.
sorry, before we go forward, can I
Mhm.
just say I found it interesting that the Antler Queen had Lottie's voice when she made that phrase, when she said that phrase.
Yeah,
Did
but
you notice?
she's Lottie's imagination, subconscious.
Yes, but she never has Lottie's voice. She has a separate voice. It was when she made that
Have we heard the
statement.
Antler Queen speak before?
Yes, now this therapist, was she not the Antler Queen?
Oh yeah, but okay, I figured
Oh,
out they were doing that because that was the first time we were seeing that she wasn't a real psychiatrist, but she
Yes,
was
but then
Lottie's
but then I thought it was
mind.
interesting that the first time that the Antler Queen speaks,
Hmm.
it's Lottie's voice.
Because I think
Because
yeah, but I
then
think it's because Lottie's telling herself that there needs to be violence.
yeah, so I feel like it goes back into just that whole narrative of was it real or was it all just Lottie's imagination and then what actually happened out there? And like I feel like it's something we've kind of touched on different episodes, but we've never really
Hmm.
had like the writers or the directors give us something that says,
Hmm.
okay,
Hmm.
maybe you're on the right track. But then when we hear with that voice, and then later on in the sharing shack, we hear Shauna just interrupt and say, but that's not real, or
Hmm.
that didn't happen. It's just like, but what didn't happen? Because I thought that was also so ambiguous. What didn't happen? Like,
Yeah,
is it
we'll
the
get
is,
yeah
anyway?
we'll get to all of that because I have lots of questions. But yeah, like I really like that the first half of that sharing scene particularly because I think it all felt so natural. Like I think you all kind of know that like these things are going to come out, these secrets are going to come out eventually, but I didn't think they were all going to come out in like one conversation. Like for example, Shauna tries to avoid her accusations by throwing Nat under the bus and saying that the FBI is looking for her, but then that triggers Misty's memory because Misty is the FBI. So like I just thought that all that was quite good, and even deep cuts like Ty being the one that hired Jessica. Um,
Wait,
Van
And
came out actually.
yeah,
Everybody collected. Oh.
and throughout all of this, Lottie is just watching. She's just thinking like, "What the fuck is wrong with these people? Like, we do need to
Can I
kill
just say
somebody
Yeah,
because
she was like, "Damn, one of us has to go."
can I just say shout out to Van, because without Van throwing those keys, we won't be where we are
we
today.
won't
These
be here."
confessions would not have come out.
Van is a doer always, man. Van is always a
But
doer.
And
my favorite
mhm,
line of this entire episode, I'm sorry, this is it, is Van telling Misty that shit, like, Misty, you're what do you
you're
say?
proactive.
If you're
Yes,
nothing if not proactive.
yes, you are
Very
nothing if
true.
not proactive. I screamed. I said, "Oh my god, it's true!"
It's
And then
very true.
Misty goes, "Thank you."
She's very proactive.
Um, yeah, and Lottie suggests that they need to sacrifice someone to appease it.
Mm.
Um, and we'll talk about why she thinks this or her example a bit later. But she wants them to drink from cups, one of which is poisoned. Let's talk about the sharing shack, right? Up to and including the point where Lottie's like, somebody needs to die. What were you guys' thoughts on that scene? And Lottie's kind of going full cult leader, essentially.
You guys, I just need to, I'm a bit anti Lottie, so I'll start by saying I think the girl is cuckoo and she was sounding very cuckoo in 2021. Okay, she was mystical. She was wannabe Jesus, Baby Yoda, back in
Baby
96,
Yoda.
back in 96. But
Yeah.
did you guys not think this woman is off her walker? You want one of us to die? And how else would I feel? Okay, and it's just so I don't know. She's a lot more in like sensible settings, sounding unhinged to me than how she did when she was in the wilderness. Because in the wilderness, you're just like testing fates. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
come on, everyone can just go to jail for a couple of years and like come out and be okay. No one has to die. That's me. I'm just basically
To
the
maybe
end is Lottie B for real. BFFR.
do.
um, I liked it. I think it was the first time that they were all properly honest with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Not really by choice, but more by you threw me under the bus. You two come and collect. You two come and collect. Everybody is nobody shirt is white, and I thought it was really
Except Nat.
interesting.
Nat shirt is completely white.
Yeah, but that's because no, that shirt is purple, and that's because she has done her transitioning.
Well done. That was nice.
Exactly. Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Thanks.
I like that. I like that.
Thanks.
That's for you.
Thanks.
Start of the show.
But I thought it was really interesting, and it was also funny because you could see attempts at judgment, and then you could
mhm.
see that backing down really quickly because you're just like, well, the truth
Well,
is,
I mean, yeah. Like Farida
like,
says that in
mhm.
the sorry, no, to maybe finish your
No,
point.
no, go ahead.
Oh, Farida says like in the cold light of day that Lottie's reasoning doesn't make sense, but every time someone tries to say something to like attack her, she kind of like shuts them up. If we're being honest, like someone's like
Yeah,
Shauna is like, "Oh, you're taking this cult thing a bit too seriously," and our lives are
our
not that
lives
bad.
are
And she's
great.
like,
Yeah,
she's like, "Well, you're about to lose your family. Nat, you almost
and
killed
probably
yourself.
go to
Misty,
jail.
you killed."
You actually
Her
kill somebody.
Simon
Ty.
Kessel's line reading of Misty, you actually killed someone was so great. So I was just like, Misty,
I
well,
was like, I did this for
it's
the
never
group.
hypothetical. She was like, you actually killed somebody right now. And obviously, like what I said, we're going to talk about her reasoning later. I won't go to 96 storyline, but obviously, these guys, whether they want to believe it completely or not at this point, believe that there's a connection. It might not be
Yeah.
might not be wilderness, but there's a connection, which I think actually kind of explains why we are talking about this last week. Obviously, debating why they stay. Like they might not want to believe in the full culty thing, but they believe there's something there. Like Shauna
Mhm.
probably believes there's something there because they did some things when they were in the wilderness, right? And they probably believe that there is some correlation between. It might not
I
be
mean, Ty is a
straight
perfect
line.
example
Yeah, like yeah,
because
Yeah.
what
like
the fuck was she doing in '96? Anyway, sorry, I was
so
a bit
no,
like, huh?
yeah. So like they probably think I don't think anyone's gonna be like, okay, let's do it, let's drink this cup and somebody dies. But like they are intrigued enough to not walk away immediately. So there is probably something there.
And
Maybe
I
I was
thought it was also
traumatized.
so interesting that they've gone back to that kind of um almost lot picking, right? It's like it's
Mm-hmm.
random. It's like
Yeah.
I can't tell you which one of us deserves to die, Sha, so let me just do random selection.
Mm-hmm.
It selects. And literally it selects, it will select somebody. It's
I
and
mean,
that's literally
yeah,
it's another way that it echoes kind of what happens in
Yeah.
96 because
96. And they
Van
actually put it
says
kind of side by side.
yeah, because Van
Mhm.
says well, yeah, which is why this episode to plan it out for us to record was a nightmare. But Van says, why don't you do it? And Lottie doesn't say, well, the wilderness doesn't accept volunteering. She says, you know that's not how it works. Like, you know this. Like, I'm not
Mhm.
like you understand. And everybody shuts up when she said, like, you know that it has to be random. Like, there's nothing here. So I don't know. Her saying you know was almost like, what are we doing here? Like, I don't need to
Mm.
teach this to you. Like, we're all
Yeah.
on board. Like, we know how this
She
works.
was saying B for real.
Yeah, she was. She was like Van, BFFR. No, so like I don't know. I think it was just we don't obviously don't know. I don't think, and I don't think they're going to drink that. I mean, uh, so I don't think that's what's going to happen. But I think it's interesting that they don't all instantly walk away, right? They don't all instantly just be like, Lottie, go back to Switzerland. You're fucking nuts. So, um, yeah. L- any more thoughts on this before we move on to 96?
I think also, so like, you know how in when the girls all got together, the Spice Girls all got together and we're like, why weren't they throwing hands? I
Mm-hmm.
think it would make sense if it was always random. It was not
Mm-hmm.
like we picked. But then
Which
I
I
negate
said,
this point. But I negate this point because it's actually, well, do you want to talk about 96 and what happened at the end? Because
Well,
I want to
let's get
connect that.
yeah.
uh,
Okay. When we get to that, you can connect it. So before I leave 2021, just quickly talk about Walter because we see two scenes of Walter.
fucking snitch.
Wa- well, I
But
mean,
we never,
Like,
guys, remember, it's only been a week. He didn't really know Misty for more than like, what, 4
I
days.
didn't care.
I
I
can't
didn't
believe you're.
fucking care.
I can't believe you're
What a
angry with the
fucking
man.
snitch.
I can't believe you're angry with a man who wants to give up information about a murder. I can't believe this is what the show has done to us. This is where
Yeah,
we are
But
I
as
wanted
an
to
is a
institution,
slap
as a
him. Say
future.
that
society.
I have
Because
some relevant information. Is he sick?
Um,
mine is that why did you form all that? Oh, I see you're a handler with Misty. Like, why? It's the fakeness for me.
I think,
If you
You
hate
I
a
see,
think,
and
murderer,
and
if you hate a
and Gene,
murderer, back it.
this is why Misty is going to kill him. This is why she has to kill him. This is why
okay.
she's doing it for the
So
good of the
You're,
group. I
you're
don't
watching too
blame
much Yellow Jackets, to maybe you're watching
her.
too much Yellow
Maybe said
Jackets.
yeah, she has to. So two things. Two things. Part of me believes that as a misdirect, that he's not actually gonna give up
Yeah,
Misty them, right? Part of
I
me.
see that.
But I do think there is doom in Walter's future. For one main reason.
Anyone who
Misty
loves a
calls him her
Misty,
boyfriend this episode.
yeah.
Misty says, my boyfriend. And I just feel like that cannot end well. Do you get what I mean? I feel like she's gone. So this is Misty and Walter's timeline.
God,
Misty
I
tells
beg you.
Walter confesses his love for Misty by telling her that his own grandmother was a killer, but he loved her.
Yeah.
And then and then and then Misty sends Walter away, has a what they call it, sensory deprivation session, finds out that she loves Walter, calls Walter, leaves a voicemail that I love you, and then calls Walter her boyfriend. All of that has not involved Walter. Like all of Misty has gone on that journey without Walter at all. So like to Walter, the last thing he remembers is Misty telling him to fuck off. So I'm just like, how are you now, Misty? Like now calling him your boyfriend? Like that's the kind of like self delusion we are at.
He,
So yeah, I don't know. I think that's bad news for Walter. The fact that she calls him her boyfriend. He does pick up a purple jacket, I think, which is I was like, okay, why purple? What's going on here? Are you going to
Do
fit
you
into
know what
the?
I also found funny?
everyone, yeah.
I also found funny when Shauna's reason for lying to them was that if it were any of their spouses, she would have definitely killed them.
I
And I
believed
just
her
thought that was
though.
just like, I believed 100%. She wasn't
I want to
joking.
be
Oh,
You know
but
the
they all
truth is
agreed.
Shauna, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
they were like, yeah,
They,
facts.
yeah, yeah, they were like, they know that because, like, I mean, Shauna will. She'll,
Mhm.
she'll kill them. So I just thought it was just yet again Shauna just being the coldest person here, but doing it so like meekly. And it's just like I don't know. Look, she knows what she's doing because there's just a softness and calmness to her voice. Like I would do no wrong. I cannot hurt a fly. But then she just literally straight up telling you, "Yeah, I would have killed your spouse. I can't lie to you if they were blackmailing any of us. Like they would have been dead by now, dead, chopped up, and buried."
I also just want
Yeah, and
to
like you
add
said,
to.
they all agree.
I
Yeah, go
just
ahead,
wanted to
Friday.
add to the Misty thing is that anyone who missed, well, only Crystal, because it's only Crystal, rest in peace Crystal, but whoever gets close to her, because she's like a natural psychopath, like natural sociopath, like Misty should be in prison. Just they should have
Hmm,
checked her in early. She will always harm the people that she loves or who loves her
hmm.
strongly.
Mm,
The reason why those girls are
Hmm.
not harmed is because they
mm.
don't actually love Misty. That's my character analysis.
So you're saying, oh, so it's not people that she loves, but people that love her that get hurt.
Yes.
Huh. That's
God,
sad.
I
That's
beg
very sad.
you.
That's actually very sad.
I beg
Um,
you.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we do get confirmation that Misty killed Jessica, which obviously we all knew, but had never been confirmed since the season one finale. So like, and just Misty was just like, yeah, obviously I did it to protect us. Just like, okay, okay, Misty.
I took
Okay.
care of.
Um, let's go to 96. Let's go to 96, which is what I'm assuming most people that
No,
came to listen to.
wow.
So what I'm going to do is we're going to talk about everything up to the worst game of cards ever, and then we'll talk
Mhm.
about all of that. So the episode starts with Misty and Mary. They're helping Lottie P because, like I mentioned last week, Lottie is struggling.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I
Like
should
she
apologize because
should
I thought
die.
she would have. I thought she would have just, movie magic.
Be
But she was
ready.
actually, she's on her deathbed from
it
Shona.
Yeah,
Shona's
Shauna,
mad.
who we know is a football player and can kick the ball, kicked her like 2 or 3 times. Of course, her kidneys are going to be in trouble. Anyway, Misty and Mary are helping Lottie P, which is, I guess, good for shadowing for like what Misty is going to do as a profession later in her life. Uh, Misty puts
Oh, I
Mary in
didn't
her
even clock
place.
that. That's
You
interesting.
neither, but good on you for
Yeah,
fucking.
Misty puts Mary in her place, much to thank you, much to the nation's joy. We're all happy. We're like, yeah, fuck Mary. But then, to our shame, the writers remind us that Mary is just a teenage girl who is stuck in an unimaginable situation, and they make us
Yeah.
at least feel some sort of sympathy
You
for
guys,
Mary.
can I just say
I can't lie.
something?
I
Can I
didn't
just
feel a
say
single
something?
sympathy for that bitch.
Uh,
Right?
Guys,
The baby was like, "Fuck Mary,"
Yeah,
and
I
the bitch
know.
no.
she's in.
You guys know how I felt about
Zero
Yes,
sympathy.
Jackie.
Farida.
You know how I feel about Jackie. You know how I feel about Mari. They're
Ugh.
small girls. They're 15, 16. I would have died the second
Wait,
day.
how do
I'm
you
not
feel
going to
about
lie.
Mary? You feel you?
I don't like Mari, but she's like a small. She's 16.
Wait, how do you feel about Mary?
She's 16. Like she's just
Yeah, it
like she's just
doesn't
a
stop her from being a bitch. You can be a bitch at 16.
yeah, but she's only like a I give a lot of grace to teenage girls. It's hard. And then in the wilderness, I would have not
Oh my
one me
God,
that went to Green
Farida,
Springs. They
fucking
don't teach me those
relax, man.
skills.
We're not saying, nah. We're not even saying that she's being a bitch to like adults. We're saying she's literally being a bitch to
Yeah, it's
everyone
too
else that's
hard.
in the same
Fellow
fucking
16-year
situation with
olds.
her. Relax. Like, oh, do you think
No,
Misty
but
is loving to just inhale these fumes and just uh, oh my god,
Yeah.
I just
Shauna,
think
how about you be pregnant and lose your baby in the fucking wilderness? No,
I
I
think they
beg,
should
she's
give her more
annoying.
grace.
She's very
She
She
was
is
annoying.
a bitch to
annoying and
Harvey,
she's a
who's
bitch.
younger than her.
Yeah,
Anyway.
she's a bitch, but like I just feel like guys,
Hmm.
she's just a teenage girl, man. She's a bitchy teenage girl, but she's a teenage girl. Like,
And
Anyway.
she's a bit, there we go. That's all. We didn't say she's an adult. She's just
Yeah,
a teenage girl and she's still a bitchy
we are
babe.
we are we are we are attacking and criticizing her as the child that she is.
Exactly.
Speaking of
I at 16
ima-
would have thought she was a bitch.
speaking of imagining things, Akila realizes that Nugget isn't real,
Oh
and
my god, you know I
can I ask?
cried.
oh Jesus,
Cried.
okay, let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
talk about that. What?
yeah,
Yeah. No, but like she had been feeding Nugget and taking care of him. And like she thought he was a real thing, and it was giving her hope. Only for fucking Taisa to come and tell her he's dead, and then we see like, and just like,
I think that was
But do
black on
you
black
guys
crime, black
let me
on white
ask?
violence.
do you
Do you
get?
guys think it was always dead, or did you think it died and she didn't notice?
No, I feel like it died.
No, I think he was always dead because
See, that's
that's
the
of
thing.
looks. That's of look at how it was just bones. I think she found a dead carcass and thought it was real.
No, I
That's
think it
crazy.
died
That
in
means
her
she's
watch, but she
been.
didn't realize because
That
she was
means she's
But how
hungry.
many?
been
It hasn't been.
for a
How long
while.
has it been? Yeah, how long has it been? For do you see that? That was that body was that was bones. There was no
That
No,
was
meat on
but
that. There was no
bone.
she,
skin.
yeah,
She
but
could not even
she,
chow it.
She tried.
She did
oh
try.
my god, yeah.
But
So
that's
I
what
don't
I
know.
mean. Like,
I because I considered this question, but I was like, this is not something that died a week ago.
yeah.
Mm.
Because again, why would there just be one mouse? I was always confused why there was just one mouse. There's never just one mouse in a place. Like if there's one, then there are more. Anyway,
I catch
um,
it. I didn't
And I was
know.
wondering the significance of that her mouse. So it's good to know that
yeah.
it was to show that
yeah.
she's losing it.
Anyway, Akila realizes
That means
which
that
is
she
just
has
big.
been like she has been cuckoo since.
Yeah,
Because that
yeah,
that mouse she found it before Shona gave birth.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
That
because
is insane.
she touched it, so I guess it's better that she touched that, not a real mouse, before touching Shona.
I don't
Um,
know. I don't know that it's better, babes. I don't know why you would arrive
um,
at that.
but also Mari resumes hearing and this time
The
seeing
dripping.
dripping blood on the walls. So, in case you guys didn't know, these girls are struggling. They are struggling
Mm.
seriously. Nat tells Ben that she saw Harvey bowing to his symbol tree, and this triggers Ben, who now has a new lease of life because he's like, I didn't die, so now I'm gonna. Which I think was the significance of last week. Is like him kind of not killing himself is kind of like, okay, I'm recommitting myself to taking care of this kid. So he goes to investigate because he's been suspicious of Harvey ever since he said that thing about his friend, and not just because Harvey is now a foot taller. So Lottie tells Misty that they should eat her if she dies because Messiah complex and all of that.
Wanna be
Um,
She
Jesus?
said,
You're
"Don't
not
waste my
Jesus,
body."
bro.
do you have
Don't.
any thoughts on all of that? All of the stuff I've mentioned. Do you have any thoughts? Anything you want to talk about before we move on to cards?
Yes, I had one thing, but I've forgotten now. Ah.
Farida, do you have any
Oh, you
thoughts?
know how we mentioned some episodes ago that the
Mm-hmm.
dripping that Marie hears is
Yeah,
like probably about her death. I think Freda
Yeah,
might have
Farida
been
said
you
so.
Yeah,
that
Tumblr
spoke
told
about
me.
it. Yeah, but I think maybe it's just not about her death, but someone else's. Like just foreshadowing a death. Because the first one we heard, after a while, this babe, what was her name? Crystal the Pistol died. And then, although we didn't hear like dripping in a while before Crystal died, but now this like huge amount of like blood and this someone else like hearing it, and then the hunt happens and a sacrifice of a 6 foot tall Harvey is made. And
So also you're saying she's foreshadowing death, like it's not
I
just like
think it's just,
okay.
yeah, I think she's
So
just
next time she
hearing.
sees it, another person will die.
I think
Okay.
so.
I mean, but this
Okay.
one seemed like a lot. It seemed like multiple people. I think she said, "Don't you
Yes.
see them? Don't you see them? They're dead behind the wall or something like that.
Yes.
Something along those lines." Unfortunately, our screeners don't have subtitles.
Hmm.
Okay,
And it's
so
Thaisa hearing it as well for me. Why Thaisa?
yeah, Saisa heard it, but
But then
only
is that in her head or is that in real life?
well, that's the central question of the entire show, isn't
Yeah,
it?
literally, that's
It's
literally
like is
every
anything in their head or is
episode.
it in real life?
We can ask that question. Is this for real?
It's
Are they
not.
being for
It's
real?
yeah. It's not a coincidence that I've not done the debates in a few episodes because, like, at this point, everything is just all one circle.
Yeah.
The Venn diagram is a circle. Okay, so Taisa. No, first of all, Shauna and I think was it Mari? No, it wasn't Mari. Shauna and someone else were like, I can't
Was
imagine.
Shauna in the hunt?
Wait, first of all, don't worry,
Sorry.
we'll go.
I'm sorry.
I
I'm
have
sorry.
steps. Somebody says, I can't imagine living here without Lottie. I think it was Van and Shauna. Then
Yeah.
Mari's like, let's not do that. Then Taisa is like, okay, let's do something to fix it because they're going to starve to death. And then next time we see all of them, they're kind of like this wordless circle, which is a bit dreamlike.
Mm-hmm.
For a while, I thought it was a dream until somebody actually spoke. And then we see that they're picking cards, which obviously we mentioned last week. We discussed last week that the theory about whether cards was the way for who gets sacrificed.
Mhm.
And then it lands on Nat, who picks the Queen of Hearts. And you know what? Go ahead. You guys just who
First of all,
start.
I
Who
don't
was
think Misty shuffled those cards well because I saw
or
when
Van
Misty
shuffled the
gave the
Van
card,
shuffled the cards. Van
whatever,
shuffled the cards.
whoever the fuck shuffled. I feel like Misty knew that that card was there because when it came to giving it to Nat, you could see like she tried to shift it a little, like with her thumb,
Really?
and then
Like she
she
wanted
was
Nat to
just
take that
shaking.
card.
No, she moved it like when like she shifted it a bit to like this side, like just
Wait,
a slight
so
thing.
that Nat doesn't take it, or so that Nat takes it.
Yes, yes, because she was like absolutely like terrified, and she wasn't terrified when she was passing all the other cards. So I said, Misty. And then when Van now took it, and when Nat now took it, I just thought that was just crazy. And then it
Yeah.
was just
And can I
really
just say
So
something?
uncomfortable for me. Yeah, yeah.
It's like,
mhm.
how we were talking about why do they back this beef? Why the hell is Nat still friends with these bitches after they ran her through the forest?
Okay, so let's say that this thing ends with Nat picking up the Queen of Hearts, and then she's meant to, I guess, by the rules they've agreed on, Shauna is meant to kill her, and obviously they can eat her. And then Shauna gives her Jackie's necklace, and then Shauna is meant to kill her,
Mm-hmm.
but Shauna hesitates, and then Travis kind of tackles
Shauna.
a woman who just gave birth a day before. So that's a bit.
A woman
Mm.
that beat that babe black and blue.
But
That
that's
was
also true. That's also
w-
true.
She have
And
world
recovered.
wrestler, Undertaker
and
of
Nat
Yellow
runs,
Jackets.
Nat runs away, and the girls chase her, while some girls stay behind holding Travis at knife point, and then it ends with Harvey dying in thin
I
air.
also cried.
It explains so much. It explains why Nat and Travis are so fucked up till this, like the present day, because they're dealing
Yes,
with the
now.
guilt of eating Harvey. Nat is dealing with the guilt of Harvey being the one to almost save her, but then she still has to end up eating him. Travis ate his younger brother that he was waiting months to find. I was just like, oh, you guys, that's so. And who do you tell that to? Like, who do you tell a therapist? Like, how do you actually fix that problem? Because, like, okay, everyone was a bit fucked up. But then that must have really fucked both of them up. Like,
Mm-hmm.
chowing your younger brother will kill me. So it explains
Okay,
so much now.
so
And I forgive Nat for being a bit annoying to me sometimes in present day.
okay, so oh my god, I don't know what to do now. So
Have
I
we
had this
spoken
note for
about a lot and
no,
not
no,
spoken?
no, no, it's not that. I had this note for later, but I guess I can just ask it now. By what we are all saying, or rather what you guys are saying, it seems like we're agreed that Harvey's dead.
Ah,
Ah.
That, that everything we saw there was real.
Ah. Why do you think it's for fake?
Well, okay. So Shauna's none of that was real really confuses me then when she tells
me
Lottie none
too.
of that was real. Because the way that whole scene is very confusing because it starts and finishes with Lottie. Because again, let's remember that the thing is when you almost die, you see visions, right? That's what Travis was trying to recreate.
Mm.
Right. Um and we always thought, at least I thought that it was either when Shauna was baptized in the first season and she saw visions because maybe she almost drowned, or it was when, more precisely, was when she almost dies in the snow and she has the whole mole vision that he was talking about. But then could it have been now? Like, could it have been when she almost dies from Shauna beating her ass that she sees this vision? Because it starts with her seeing these visions and seeing that things are going to be okay. And then she's relaying this to the group, and then in adult time, and then Shauna is like, none of that was real. So unless what was Shauna talking about, none of that was real about. But but then also, so here's the thing. I don't know if I like this whole sequence. I don't know if I I don't know. I don't know if I'm on board logically
With
and
what?
emotionally. I think it's a big. How do we get here?
They're
Like these girls,
starving. Yeah.
yeah, but these girls are chasing Nat and they're like howling at the moon, and like Shauna is chasing her with like war materials, and like they're actually chasing one of their closest friends.
I
Am I the
think,
only one that finds it difficult to like reconcile this?
well, when they're starving, and like they were showing us all through that episode that everyone's going a bit cuckoo. So, I mean, I guess it is a jump. So I think it's like, that's why I wanted to make this point now of like, I think it's crazy how they're all together. Because you know how we were wondering, are there factions? What happens?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of weird that, they all were jumping over her and now they're all like chilling now. Um, I think Yellow Jackets will not answer that. Is this real or is this fake for another like 2 to 3 seasons? I
Well,
would
is
like
what
to.
real?
Any of it, all of it. What is real? What is fake? What is just the majestic thing in the wind? But my dawning question is like overall arching. I'm sorry because I'm changing topic a bit, but not really. It's like, why is this all happening 25 years later? Why was their life so normal? Then this happens. Is
I
it
mean, we don't
something?
know it's normal. They haven't given us flashback into the inside the 25
Yeah, but
years.
also part of that is just like maybe that's just TV writing. Like you're just like we're writing it in 2021, so we're going to set it in 2021,
No,
or
I
But it's
like
get
also
that,
like
but mhm.
the only thing that's really, I mean, I don't know, but it seems like the hugest thing that changed is when that guy died, like he did the suicide, and then, oh, things are happening. People are bringing themselves back together. And I still think Lottie is a liar because, I don't trust Lottie about like how she was with him with his death and stuff. So I feel like
I can't
let's
lie.
watch something
I
there.
support that. I feel
oh
like
no,
she lied.
yeah, I think we all kind of have question marks about Lotus then, and I would say that I do think Harvey is really dead. I think that's real. It's weird to
Yeah.
me, but I think it's real because I don't think the show would not end on that note, and then next episode be like, "Psych, we're back in like the cabin and Harvey's there." You get what I mean? That's a how do I put that's like a Netflix twist that happens when people watch the episode the next time, not when people have to wait because you're really kind of really insulting your audience intelligence if they have to wait a week to see the Harvey's alive. So I do think he's dead, but I don't know. It just doesn't sit with me, and I don't know if I agree with it because like yeah, it makes sense that they are all obviously the show is showing us that they're losing their faculties one by one, but then to get to the point where they're actively chasing one of their closest friends and like they have the glee in it. Like they're howling at the. I think it was the howling that took me out because like they're howling at the moon. They're like so excited to do
No,
it. Like
what took me
Shauna,
out is Ty being the first.
yeah. Like I don't
Hi.
know. Lots of things. Don't like Akila, who has been very meek across like the show and has just found out that like her pet is not real. All of a sudden, is like chasing gnats through the snow. I don't know. I and then just the placement of Shauna telling Lottie all of that wasn't real. She's almost like confused. She's like, what are you talking about? All of that was not real. I don't know. It just seemed I don't know. It just seemed really weird to me.
They're
Yeah.
busting your brain.
And I just don't know. I don't know if I like it. Here's the thing. If I didn't have a podcast, if I was watching the show as a TV fan, I'd probably like, oh, this is fucking interesting and fun. But when you have a podcast and you talk about you, like I'm like, I don't know if it makes sense to me. I don't know. I feel like it's a big leap, like
Yeah.
logically and emotionally for these characters to do this.
I
And
don't
then
think
when you
it's
now
that big of a
place,
leap if you think
you don't
about
you don't think
how
so?
the
Like
show ends, like what they will eventually fall into. You know me, I love an ending. So I'm always thinking, okay, how is this going to get us to Antler Queen? We're all chasing after one or two babes.
but here's the
That's
thing.
it.
But we said it, no, but we can't. The priority cannot be the ending because then you're invalidating everything that happens on the way to that.
No,
Because
it's
we,
all everything that builds towards the ending.
yeah, but those steps have to make sense.
But I think that's what I mean. I think it makes sense. They're
And
both
I
like
just,
crazy.
I don't know. I don't. This just doesn't like. It just seems like a very big jump. That's all I'm saying. Like
Would you
honestly, if this was like Jess or the other one, I can't remember her name. It might even make more sense. I'm like, okay, they don't really care about this person, and the show has already proven this person's been dispensable because they don't really talk. But then it's Nat. Like Ty and Nat are close. Nat was when Shauna had her dream. Nat was the closest person to Shauna. So subconsciously, Nat and Shauna are close, and then Shauna is here like chasing her, even though Shauna should be feeling guilt over what she did to Lottie. I don't know. It just didn't make sense to me. It was fun,
That's
but it just didn't make sense to me.
that's interesting. I think you're looking at them in such a humane way when they're literally fucking starving in the middle of
I'm
nowhere.
screaming.
No, but I want
No,
them
no,
to
no,
get there. But I feel like we skipped 2 steps in one episode.
no. I don't think so because, like, if they did this without when Jackie's body burnt and then they started eating her like fried chicken, if
Yeah.
they didn't have that and they didn't have that little scene where they're like, "Ooh, I hope Crystal's like alive but dead so we can chow her," and they just skipped right into this, then I'll be like, that's like you guys are doing some TV magic. But this was very. I feel like they've been building towards. "Ooh,
Mm,
let's just get some
Maybe,
food."
maybe like I don't know. Maybe I'm
mm.
overreacting. Maybe like audiences will watch and like I'm
But can I tell you
overreacting.
something? Can we? Is there not? Have we? Did anyone think about the duality between like the moose and the finding of the moose inside, and like finding Harvey, and then how Harvey died, being like how the moose also went. I like the. I found that so
Ooh.
interesting.
Hmm.
I didn't think about it,
Nat
but now
was
you
always going
mention
to
it,
bring them food. We just didn't know.
Nat was always going to bring them food.
uh,
That's good. I mean,
that's spot on.
I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to spend like the next few days just trying to understand because like the card part makes sense to me. We had the theory that like I was like, okay, it makes sense that you're gonna have to and whoever takes it. I think it was just for me was the glee at which they chased them and like maybe it's like people that are involved in chasing Nats. Just I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm not. Maybe
I
I'm
think
yeah.
that people are hungry. And I think that there was a silent agreement when we said we have to do something about it. They brought out the cards, they
Hmm.
shuffled the cards,
Yeah.
everyone take
Hmm.
a card. I think it removes the personal from it. And okay, the person was brought back when Nat says to Shauna, look at me if you're going to do it. Well, no, even from when Shauna puts on Jackie's necklace on her,
Hmm.
that's like maybe a crowning of like, okay, you are close to me and you matter or whatever, but you will shall die. And
Oh,
I
I
then,
thought
agree.
I thought that like obviously we know Pet Girl has the necklace. And I thought it was something I was going to pass around amongst people, but it seems like maybe it's something that they give to you when it's your time. It's kind of like a final offering token or something. It's like, okay, it's time for you to go wear this necklace or something.
mm,
I don't know. So
so
what
I,
was Shauna saying? What did Shauna mean when she said none of that was real? Like what was she talking about? Was that just the writers trying to fuck with us? Like what did that mean?
I don't know.
In season
Poor
five,
Harvey
And I
we'll
man.
think
see.
they just
Poor
want us
Harvey.
to.
But guys,
It
also
was
mind fuck. There's somebody else there, right? Feeding him stuff.
well, yeah. Okay, so we talk about it, but Ben obviously found the tree, and it looks like there are people living there as we suspected, because like there's no way Harvey survived there. Like unless he survived there, and like Shadow Ty was bringing him food,
Ooh.
because we did say that
That's
bear
interesting
meat was
because she's.
missing.
And she keeps going to the trees.
Yeah, and he said
Ah.
because we've up or I have been assuming that there are other people living in the wilderness, but maybe there are other people. Maybe he just found a place where he could stay that was
And
warm because like it was underneath the ground, and
But
then
when
somebody
he
was
was
bringing him
even
food.
running, when he was he really running in the right direction of that tree? Because
It
I can't lie, it didn't look like he was running in the direction of
Yeah,
it.
but I do get what you mean. But like, I would just assume that like she Nat has obviously run a different direction, so probably they've lost kind of like we don't know the real wilderness geography. Anyway,
now do
so
well.
maybe you cried. Why did you cry about Harvey dying? Let's kind of go back.
I
Because we
just
just
thought it
got
was
him.
really sad and it was like a betrayal because he wouldn't have if he didn't come to save her. Like
Hmm.
he came to save her because
Hmm.
like that's my brother's babe. And my brother
Hmm.
just pushed someone down and looked at me and gave me the nod. And I've run and I'm taking this person to my shelter. And you fell down, but I picked you up. And then I fall into the water. And then
Even the
you
way you're
like you
saying it hurts
try,
me.
like you try to like grab me and it's just not
Hmm.
it's not working and you're trying. I can see that you're trying, but then someone comes and is like, if you save him, they will kill you. And you have to make
Yeah.
a tough decision between like, is this a do I choose myself because ultimately you were trying to save me. So if you had saved me, what next? Like someone had to die anyway. Or
Yeah.
do I like
And he
save
calls
you?
he
And I
calls for
just
Nat
thought,
again.
and he just like kept calling her, like,
Mm.
help me. And I was just like,
No wonder
oh my
she and
God.
Travis are so fucked and like been
I
doing
was
on
like,
and off and like
because just
in this toxic mesh for
imagine the guilt that
days.
she would just be living with. Because what is
Hmm.
she going to
Yeah.
say?
That's very real guilt though. Like
Like this will be
fair.
the
If she
second
told me,
time
I'll say
that she's
yeah.
basically killing him. The first time she pretended that he was dead and she found out out. This
True.
time she really did kill him with her in action. And
Shauna is the one that tells the girls not to help.
you could
Um.
also just see her, the
So
tears in her eyes, like she was
yeah,
devastated.
yeah. Shauna tells
Shauna
them
said it.
to. Yeah, Shauna says wait when Akila wants to help Harvey. She says wait. So Shauna
Is
and her.
Shauna a good person,
Well,
guys?
no, no one on this show is a good person.
I don't know. I feel like Thais is a bit of a good person.
Eh?
Why?
Thaisa that led the hunt, running with
Tyson killed her
pitchfork.
pet dog and sacrificed me on an altar.
Even forget that
No,
when
but
she
that
was
was not
sleeping.
Shadow Tie.
Is not in her body.
Ty. No,
Ah,
it
ah,
was.
you forget that Ty wanted to
No, but Thaisa
ice
actually
out
did
somebody
try
on the pitch
and
and then broke someone's leg.
Yeah, like she's the
yeah,
first bad person we see on this show.
yeah. What am I talking about? No.
No, like
They're all bad.
we are currently
Van,
watching
what
a lot
did
of shows where
Van
there's
do?
no good person.
Van
What
is
did
a
Van do?
kid. Van has always kind of
Look,
What does
like,
Van
here's the
do?
thing: whoever was a good person 5 minutes ago is no longer a good person, quote unquote,
I'm
because like
screaming.
they were all involved in this
They were
and
all involved in
they
this.
all chased her down. Anyway, look, I obviously spent way too long focusing on the logic of it actually being a thing. I do accept that it's a thing and Harvey's dead and this happened, and there's a lot of emotional stakes at this happening. Like it's a big deal. I don't want to be the person that tells Travis what happened to Harvey and that Harvey's dead.
And he has to eat
So
him or he
and
starves.
and
He
he has
has
to,
to
yeah.
eat your brother.
Um, yeah, I mean, personally, like I said, there's some things that I don't know if I agree with, but like generally, it's an interesting story evolution. Um, Sorry for the girls. I don't know. I just really need to understand what Shauna mentioned. Said is that real? I know there'll be interviews when the episode comes out, and I'll read all the interviews that the creators won't have
It's
about it.
eating you alive. Bankole,
It
it's
is linked to
eating
my
you.
life because it's just
No,
it's
because she interrupted. She literally
yeah.
interrupted.
Yes, and it seemed again it could have been just be edited that way to confuse us. But it seems like when you're watching a show and someone is telling a story and they're like, "Well, that's not true," and then it comes back to real life. So like it's like a cut.
But
But
what was
maybe
she saying in 2021,
so she was talking about
before?
how you always need to sacrifice somebody when like you need stuff, and then they start talking about
So
the
maybe
Nats
that's what
thing.
she's saying is not real. That you don't have to sacrifice somebody every time.
Yeah, but
That
she
they
says
just
no. Her
did.
words are none of that was real. Not it's not. She was like almost like none of what you're talking about was real. Like none of that was real. It's more specific than it isn't real or whatever. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
I think it's going to be a boring season finale at the beginning because we kind of expect what will happen in
Are you
96,
about to trigger
right?
another 10 minutes monologue from Dumebi?
No.
No, no, no. I know they're gonna do some shocker in the middle and at the end, right? Maybe we'll see the Ansela Queen just pop up or something random. But like in the beginning for 96, it's like, okay, Harvey's dead. Okay, we have to tell Travis, okay, that guy will try and win an Emmy by acting. Oh my gosh, Travis is dead. Harvey's dead. We see Ben schooling around that place. I think I feel like the first beginning will just be a bit boring for the 96, and then eventually we'll get into something
I don't. I
better.
mean, I don't think that's boring. But we're going back into our discussion from last week. Like, I don't know what you've described is not boring. It's just not action packed.
No, it's not even like, I just think it's predictable. The first couple, I can't wait to see how they shock us. Let me put it in a positive spin. Because I just, okay, I know. I like that emotional drawl. We just know what's going to happen, you know?
And
That's going to try and win an Emmy.
I mean, that's why I I watched the show for the emotional draw, not for the shock.
That's actually a good question that we should ask her next week. Like, why did we watch this show? I watched this show to solve the mystery. I want to know what the fuck is going on.
I
Please,
And what
me
is actually real.
after Pretty Little Liars, I'll never watch any
I
shit
honestly
or
like.
any
I mean,
mystery.
this is a thing that I've said. It ranges from Big Little Lies to Mayor of Easttown. I don't care about the mysteries in mystery shows. Like the only reason I'm
Wow.
reading Reddit or whatever is because I'm doing this podcast. Like I and this is gonna sound incredibly pretentious or whatever, but like I
Go
care
on.
about just the emotional
Someone
storytelling.
went to film
No, no,
school.
I care
Yeah,
about like
go on.
what it means for these characters and what like I'm way more interested in how Nat and Travis have to deal and Shauna and Ty have to deal with like Harvey dying than with Harvey dying.
No,
And
Mm,
that's
I'm very interested in knowing if it's the wilderness and like if there's
I
actually
don't
something out
I,
there
I don't think it's
or if
I don't
this
think
is
it's
all in
going
their
to matter.
heads.
And I also don't think the show is going to tell you. I don't think
They
the show
have
is
to
going
tell me.
I'm willing to put money that the show would never say it for a fact what the truth is. Like it's going to be something
No,
like
no.
because it's the truth is that whether it was the wilderness or it was real, it was these girls that did it, and that is what is important. That these girls did these things, whether the wilderness was leading them or it was minerals in the water or whatever. It was these girls that agreed to pick cards. It was these girls that chased somebody, their friend. It was these girls that let their friend's brother drown. Like all of this was this guy. I think that I personally think that's what is more interesting than it being some supernatural force. Because that's definitely not supernatural force is not controlling them. They are choosing to do these things.
So you believe it's fake then?
I believe it doesn't matter. I don't know what it is. But like what I'm saying is that even if it's supernatural, the supernatural force is not making them do these things. Maybe it's
It's not
creating
brainwashing
yes,
them. It's
it
just
might
like
create the
influencing
environment,
them.
but they are choosing to do what they do.
mm,
And I think that is what is
Mm.
interesting. That they are like these girls are choosing like Lord of the Flies was natural. It wasn't supernatural, right? But they were all on an island. But the boys chose to do what they did. They chose to hunt Piggy and do things like that. So I don't know. I think that's one. I don't really care about them. I also think is when shows get too bogged down on what the mysteries that they lose their way because they're trying to shock the audience. So that or so many of
I
their
see
like
that.
so many of their theories are out online, so they're trying to supersede. Like, think of Severance, for example. I don't care about like the Severance mystery. I care about like the storytelling between the two versions of the home of the weekend. Sorry, the work and the home person. Like,
That is so interesting because I really care about like I want to know how the no man with no eyes and Thaisa's grandmother has to deal with the fact that some things is happening. I really like connecting the dots. Like I get what you mean, and I watch. There's some shows I watch purely for the emotional mysteries and not the emotional mysteries, but like the emotional connections of characters, like Succession and Barry and da da da. But this, I'm watching. I'm genuinely what's keeping me attached is like this podcast, but also what be for real. What's going on? Like,
I don't
is
know.
this the wilderness?
I think Yellowjackets is one of those shows, but it's just Trojan horse in a genre show. But I don't start on that
Yeah.
10-minute monologue of my own. I think it's one of those shows that I think they are really, really focused and interested in
Bankole
the
rest.
no, oh no, that's a running joke. That's a long running joke. Don't worry. No, no, I think it's a show that is very, very interested in the emotional storytelling of these teenage girls and the adult women and all the intricacies of things of when people are put to the extremes in the world like this. It's just that it's also wrapped up in these are writers who I don't know if I don't know where this goes for you depending on how you like this show. But these are writers who worked on something like the originals and like dispatches from elsewhere. So like they know how to write this genre world, but they're also more interested in a lot more deeper stuff. Um so yeah,
Uh,
that was me being pretentious. I
you
don't
weren't
apologize.
pretentious.
Um
Okay.
I just don't like I don't like the expectation of something big to happen for it to be worthwhile.
Um, no, not that it has to be big for it to be worthwhile, but I genuinely what pulls me the most to this show is the mystery aspect.
That's fair.
Let's find that's not for you.
That's fair. Anyway, Debbie, final thoughts.
Um, I feel like the truth is, I'm still processing this episode. I like this discussion
Yeah.
that you guys just kind of had on why you watch Yellow Jackets. I think for me, I'm probably a middle ground between both of you. I enjoy the mystery, but mystery means nothing to me if I don't feel the emotional aspect of like how are
Mm-hmm.
these characters processing it, how are they growing through it, and what does it actually mean to them, which I feel Yellow Jackets gives me a bit of both. Well, not even a
Mm-hmm.
bit, like a significant amount of both. So I just find it really fulfilling. Like even when I'm angry with like maybe some decisions, I'm just like, "Ah, wow, but okay, that's interesting. Like even just with this Jeff and Callie scene now, for example, like it just made me think like
Mm-hmm.
I understand why you did it, but like at the same time, how X person, considering
Mm-hmm.
what everyone else like considering everything that they're going through, how's that person going to process it? But I think all
Yeah.
in all, this episode this episode was a hard pill to swallow because the truth, and let me just be honest with all of y'all, I'm confused.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I should
Thank you
mention.
for
I should.
opening that up. I too am confused.
I mean, unfortunately, we don't have much. We don't have time left. But I should mention that, like, when this episode ended, I was like quiet for like 10 minutes, just staring at my screen. Like the music was playing, and I took off my headphone. I just like I was in shock when this. Like I
Yeah,
was stunned, both emotionally and from like surprise
absolutely.
kind of point of view. So like,
Yeah,
yeah,
so
it was an episode that like, and look, I don't not agree is a harsh word. But I don't understand some choices, but like I'm very still on board, like to hear
yeah,
what the
no,
emotional
honestly,
fallout is.
I'm still on board because I want to like so I love clarity. And I just need them to clarify
Word.
what's happening. I want to know which part. First of all, what was Shona referring to? Number one, do you
Uh,
get?
yeah.
Number two, okay, like how he died, but like, do they actually eat him? Do
Oh,
you get like?
they have to. They have to.
They're
There's no.
No, no,
chowing
no,
him
but no,
like
but
There's
like,
Christmas
no.
turkey.
no, but like, do they collectively eat him, or is it a fight? Do some people like say they'll starve instead, like Nat and Travis,
They might,
like
but they'll have
Miss
to eat him
Hadley,
eventually. Otherwise, how do they survive? How do they survive winter?
I don't know, like even like this tree now. So what happens in the tree? Does he
Well,
see
I think
more
that
people? Does
we'll
someone
find
kill
out
him?
next week.
Does something
We'll
jump
find out
out?
next week.
Like I just have a lot.
Okay.
So
This
like,
is
are they sure? Like now, for example, the police guys like, are they 150% sure it's Shauna? So are they now going to like declare Shauna like I don't know an official suspect and give her
Oh
issue a
yeah,
warrant for
yeah. They're
her
gonna
arrest?
100%.
Like
Yeah.
then what the fuck is Walter's information and why is he a snitch?
Well,
And like,
the good
do
news
they
is that I
drink the
think
stuff from the cups? And if they
no, they
do, who
won't.
dies? And just like, is that cup scene even real?
It's 100% real.
But I
Lottie doesn't fuck
just
with her rituals.
Lottie
Let me
doesn't
tell you
fuck
this:
with
the good
murder.
news is that I think you're gonna get answers to most of those questions next week in the finale. I can assure you
yeah,
Or
that.
like a leak for season 3.
Yeah. I mean, season 3 has been renewed, so we're not getting season 3 if this writer strike ever ends. Um,
they're
pay
on
writers what
strike.
they're due.
Protesting with the writers for their
Yeah, the
strike.
Writers Guild of America is on strike.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, you didn't know
why?
that?
Oh my gosh.
No,
Are
Oh,
you
there's a lot.
are you on
There's a lot.
TV, Twitter?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
no, I'm not. I'm not. I didn't. I must confess, I didn't check my Twitter often.
Oh, well, that's. I can
Wow.
talk to you about it later. That's a lot of stuff are happening there. Involves
Wow.
pay, taking care of writers,
Streaming
streaming,
services.
AI, a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay. That's a good point to end as we prepare for the season 2 finale of Yellow Jackets.
I don't even know
Um,
if I'm ready for a finale. I feel like I need like two more episodes. I can't lie.
Really? I think
well, the
I'm
good
ready to
news is
see.
that
And I just also
the
feel like
good
why are they stopping on an episode 9? I just feel like why it's like do 10 or do 7. Why 9? 9 is such a strange number.
7 is so random. Who does
7
7?
is
No,
really
7 is
random.
a number of completion.
Ah, okay. Well, the good news is that you have 12 days to wait until the finale and prepare for yourself for the finale. So,
Wait, you mean I can't watch it in two until 2 weeks?
where are you going to watch it from?
Fuck.
But not you guys, our listeners. You guys get to watch it in 7 days' time. Thank you very much for listening. Please check out our other episodes on Succession.
You can see
Barry,
that
Ted
my
Lasso,
confusion is
Love and
just
Death.
all over my body.
Ah,
I literally just look so
and
like
thank you, thank you very much to Dumebi and Faridah. This was a very late recorded, and I thank you to both of you for hanging in with me. And we'll be back next week talking about dead children,
Fun.
fun stuff. Yeah, join us next
know
week where
what
we'll be
I'm
joined
drinking.
by my
Bye.
Hallelujah.
Daniel Kaluuya. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Enjoy your belt soup.